Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Jess.
Andrew.
Jody.
Atitra.
And today we're going to kick things off with Miss Jody.
Hi, guys. So, an article called, it's an editor pick from TheGuardian.com by Matthew Keynes, arts head, Myrnie Perel, artistic director of the Unicorn Theatre. This is a group in London, in the UK. I'm not sure if it's in London specifically, but anyway, it was a really interesting interview with her. She runs a children's theater, and her philosophy is about creating children for children under the same kind of way that you would create theater for grown-ups, and treating it as if there is no difference. And she's talking about the culture of education and the different kinds of pressures that are perceived that is on her and her company, but she really sees these as opportunities, and she just tries to make learning fun and engaging. And I thought it was a really endearing article. Did you guys have any thoughts about it?
And clearly it works, making theater for children in the same line that you would make theater for adults if their company has been successful.
Yeah, I wondered about if she goes into kind of like issue-based theater for kids, and she uses this really successful outlet to kind of bring bigger issues to these audiences directly. And one of our readers writes, Miss Kathy Schwartz says, "I like the point of view that treats children's theater just like adult theater. I think that when you think of what you're doing as for children first and as theater second, you run the risk of coming across as condescending, and you focus more on the age of the audience rather than on telling the story the way it should be told. Theater is theater regardless of the age of those watching."
Yeah.
I thought that was very perceptive.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way that she said something like, there are two ways of, like, people live, and how you live with yourself and how you live with others, right? And like how theaters kind of like try to combine these two things together, and try to like teach you how to live with yourself and with others. And I kind of like that. It's very touching, and like by like treating children theater the same as adult theater, I think it's kind of cool. I think children can like learn how to.
I think a lot of times you don't give kids enough credit. I mean, just because a
They're
kid
younger.
is, 7 instead of 17 doesn't mean that they're not going to understand what's being told to them on stage.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what the opposite is. Like, I guess I've only seen good children's theater, and maybe I'm like just lucky, but I don't know. Is there a theater where it's just like, kids, like people standing up there, like, with juggling baby heads or something? I don't know. Like, what's the children's theater that's not about?
She talked about Macbeth was her example, and she said that the reason why Macbeth is such a successful story is because the drama lies in the fact that the audience knows what's going on and knows that this character is heading down the wrong path, and that we don't tell stories that way anymore. We tell stories as though the characters on stage are there to tell something, and they know what's going on, and people in the audience don't. And so it's just like you said. I think you got to give the kids a little bit more credit, and that's when drama happens. Is when we give them.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a difference between entertainment for kids and theater for kids. Like, we're not just putting on a flashy show to like make them happy for an hour or two. It's like actually
It's
trying
not the
to teach them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
maybe that's the ice capades is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I mean the children's theater that I go to most often is Seattle Children's Theater with my nephew who lived there, and every show I've seen there has been unbelievably fantastic. So maybe I'm just lucky.
Yeah, because they're benchmark for children's theater in
I
this
guess,
country.
yeah,
That's like saying the only opera I've ever seen is at the Metropolitan Opera.
I mean, also the fact that you as an adult went and enjoyed a children's show, I think that's exactly what she's getting to in this article.
Right.
All right.
Alright, well, next we're going to go on to children, animals, to the same thing.
To animals.
Atitra.
So, no animals were harmed is a lie. Exposed reviews abuse on Hollywood set. This is by Lindsay Abrams, and this is a student pick from Salon.com. So, remember, like, sometimes when we see, like, for example, Life of Pi, the tiger, like, they say, they always say that no animals were harmed in the set because the American Human Association was like always monitoring them and like saying that they're always safe. That's a lie from what they say. Because like from what they say in this article, they give like a list of examples of the animals that were in the set and what it exactly happened in the set was like, for example, like that tiger is almost drowned at some point. The husky dog was punched, and the egg below the film is starring Paul Walker. Sorry, Paul Walker. Yeah.
Who's Paul Walker?
That's sad.
What? A famous actor that just died in a car crash a couple days ago.
No.
You don't know Paul Walker?
No, I'm
And
sorry.
the irony.
Remember the no heart.
No heart.
Okay.
The thing that was really crazy about this to me was that email, the email. from
Yeah.
the video. That
Yeah.
was from
That is like-
the AHA person.
Person
who was supposed to be-
herself.
Don't tell the
like,
producers.
don't
Advocating
What?
for the animals.
I think it just kind of goes to show, like, a lot of times I think people get around a movie set and, like, you just get sucked into the culture. Like, the production is so important to everybody and everything is so focused on it. You can't believe the amount of work and money and energy that people are putting into this thing, that even this person whose only job was to make sure that the animal was safe, like, just didn't even give it. They didn't
Yeah.
care anymore.
And
I
like,
think
she
the
said-
most important thing to take from this article is that there isn't actually any regulation regarding the AHA and animals' use in film. Like, you can say no animals were harmed in this film, and it doesn't matter if an animal died. There's nothing to hold against them. There's no federal regulations or anything like that, so they can say whatever they want.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to sound mean, but who's the AHA hiring? Like, A, her lack of professionalism and attentiveness to her job, but B, that email. Did anyone else read that email?
they're just like
That email was
unacceptable.
horrible.
I
Not
know.
the
I
best
mean,
idea.
I feel like you should never write something in an email and then
Does
put
it
in
say
all
something like
caps,
that? Don't tell the producer.
And
Why would you
like
and
the
also,
silliest thing
and
ever.
we can't repeat some of the things that were said on the email because of the profane language in the email. But I would never
I would
never speak to my superiors that way.
Yeah.
I don't
black
think it
and
was to
white.
a superior. I think it was to a friend.
Somebody- yeah,
If it was
somebody
a
else,
friend
but
in the office. But
even-
anyway.
even at that
Anyway, you
point-
shouldn't say something like that. Yeah. Well, there's a comment from Jamila Cobham. Say, I must admit that I always feel happy to seeing the little blurb about no animals being harmed, and I did believe it. However, this now may have a completely different reaction. Also, I am going to assume, since this article is on the blog, that it is a reputable source. I would love to hear from the producers of this film, as well as the animal rangers who were on set with them. Why would these things allow to occur? And that email that the guy sent was most upsetting because it was a human actor. Certain things would not be allowed. In this day and age, with such technological advancements, we have to excuse for needing to use animals in dangerous situations.
That also surprised me. I never saw Life of Pi, but I was certain that that entire tiger thing was CG. The fact that they used a tiger.
Were, but
I know, but
Yeah,
what was
it
the
was
point?
CG,
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question I have about this is there room for error? Because, shit happens.
Well,
I mean, like,
the
people
article-
get hurt
The
too,
article
you
says
know?
that it was an accident. I mean, the tiger
Yeah.
lost his
lost
way
his
while
way.
swimming in a tank, and I mean,
Yeah, and
it
just
was an
can't
accident. So it's
Right.
not like
It's
they
not like-
purposely went out
but
to harm the
But
animal.
he's not getting hazard pay. I mean, I think that's the difference. He doesn't have this. We have to protect him more than we have to protect people because he doesn't have his own voice.
Yeah,
I mean,
people can fight for themselves.
that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's blatant disregard, right? Like when they were doing the explosives in the water, and then the fish kept on showing up on the bay. Like that's
Yeah.
blatant disregard. But if accidents happen,
I accidentally exploded that dynamite.
All
right, next article.
Moving on. Tell us about some copyright.
Entitled "Girls Against Boys" by Corin McSherry. It was an article about a recent kerfuffle between the Beastie Boys conglomerate and a new company called Goldie Blocks, which is a company that's trying to create engineering-style toys for young girls specifically, to kind of get them, I don't know, earlier on into that type of world that seems to be, not as accessible in girls' toys, I guess. A really noble cause, I think, and it struck me that I think if this was for like a different type of product, nobody would have been like, oh, I think the Beastie Boys should shut up. Oh, so anyway, sorry. I need to finish the story. They totally rewrote a Beastie Boys song in order to sell this ad. A really cool ad with a Rube Goldberg device and really awesome ad. Like,
it was a great
yeah,
product
we watched
ad.
it right before it went on air. But it is totally just a rewrite of the song. I mean, the music is exactly the same, and they just changed the words. In my mind, there's really no question that it's a complete infringement on their work. But it struck me that I think if it was for like a kind of an like if it was just for like toupees or something, everybody would have been like, oh yeah, they should totally sue them. But
yeah,
because it's
it was
for
such a noble thing
exactly.
that this company's trying to do.
And a lot of the comments reflected that, I think.
Yeah. I thought it was intriguing that whoever, I don't know who the person is, but in his will, it must be somebody involved in Beastie Boys, said that he doesn't want any of the Beastie Boys music used in any kind of advertising, which leads to the question, can you actually do that with copyright? Like, is that a thing?
Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if you don't want somebody to use your stuff. If it's legal, they have fair use
they're
to use
right
it.
to use it.
Yeah.
If they
So
do
if
it
the argument is that it is fair use, then what he says in his will about not wanting it to be used in commercials doesn't really matter, according to the letter of the law.
Adam Yauch, I think that his will was more towards his colleagues, towards his partners, saying, hey, don't sell the rights to our music for advertisement, please. I think that the song is covered by copyright law anyway, like regardless of what he does in his will for a certain period of time. This is my understanding anyway. So he only put that in his will, I think, to try to let people know that he didn't want the rights to be sold. And they didn't sell the rights. This was a total rip. Like, they just ripped it, which is
when
they ripped,
people like
they
Weird
ripped
Al
the whole
do
thing,
stuff like that,
though.
does he go and get the rights for all the songs that he parodies? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know what that. He's also, well, he is selling stuff. I don't know. I don't answer that.
I think Weird Al is getting rights, or he's making it known to the people that he's going to do it before he does it. I think that's part of his shtick, is he knows and then he's doing it. But she ripped they ripped the whole song. It wasn't like
it was a full 2-minute commercial with the entire song in it.
Also, to be fair though, the letter that I read from the Beastie Boys that was posted on that on the comments by Tyler Jacobson, thank you Tyler. The actual wording of the letter is actually not very threatening or angry or anything. It's just like, hey, we think what you're doing is really cool. Could you please let us know when you're, or like, can you ask us about this? Can you not just rip our stuff? It's a totally reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought anyway.
We can just see where it goes, since no one has actually threatened legal action.
Yeah,
at this point.
It sounds like, I don't know, who knows? Maybe it's all just like a marketing ploy. Like maybe they totally knew about it and they're just trying to get Goldie Blocks a little more press. Hopefully that's.
Is this good? But is this good press?
It's all good. All press is good press.
I mean,
yeah,
we all went and watched the commercial.
Good point. We've heard that before. Good point.
Okay, well.
I think that about wraps us up for segment 1. Come back and join us for segment 2.